describe you, what the adjustments been like, and being now an edge rushers coach out here, and kind of how you've seen us spring ball unfold for your group?
Yeah, I would say the biggest adjustment is just being here in Cal Berkeley. I grew up in Southern California, so I left California for about 6 years, so it's just good being, a little bit closer to home. As far as, what I do with the edges, it's the same deal I did up at Oregon. I've been working with the defensive front now at a couple spots here for 6 years, so right now, every day is just growth. I was fortunate enough to be up there with a really talented group, so it's supposed to look a certain way, and right now, just about treating that every single day the best way possible, and that's how we approach it. On the field, off the field, these guys are taxed a lot, what we ask of them. Not only what we're asking them schematically and technique, fundamentals, right, but also with the schoolwork. So they've been doing a great job adjusting to our system, what's expected of them every single day, and how to be an elite edge rusher.
Can you talk a little bit about your personnel? Solomon Williams is one of the guys that seems to be standing out a lot of practices. Can you talk about him and some of the other guys?
Yeah, we got a talented young group. First off, I love those guys. One of them, keeping him in my thoughts and prayers, is his family. It's Justin Beatles. Just lost his grandfather the other day, so Beatles family, I just want to let you guys know that we're thinking about you. We're taking care of your boy. But they've all, done really well. The focus is fundamentals right now. Solomon, yes, he is a good player, but having said that, right, we got a lot of good players. Every single one of them is going to have a role for us this year, and that's not only stopping the run, but then, of course, what everyone cares about, being able to rush the passer. But the fundamentals in the run game is what we focused on primarily in the first 2 months here.
You mentioned kind of what things are kind of supposed to look like. How have you seen those principles translate from Eugene down here?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes work, it takes grind. And sometimes it takes a little children, but it's been good. What I'm fortunate for is that all of these guys are good kids. They want to be the best version of themselves for not only their future, but also for their families, representing them. So that's why I really like working with my group.
You've seen Tosh as a defensive coordinator. Now you're seeing him as a head coach, just fully in his element. What are some of the differences you see? Kind of Tosh unleashed?
Tosh is Tosh, guys. Tosh is Tosh. I love Tosh. Been fortunate enough to be able to work with him for the past couple of years. What he's always going to bring guys is his attitude and his effort every single day. I speak for me, D2, and Coach Ed, and of course Zoe, right, as far as we're his GA. We're his GAs. This is his position group at the end of the day, and he's going to motivate us to become the best version of ourselves as a coach, right? Because he's seen it. He's seen it done at the best levels, not only in college, but also in the NFL. So his standard of as far as what he's supposed to be looking for edge group is just something that we try to live up to every single day. And being able to work with Zoe, right, 15-year NFL vet, it's phenomenal, right? The advice, the wisdom that he is able to share with not only me, but with the group, it's special.
How would you describe Okoye?
Okoye?
Yeah, how would you describe him?
The best way to describe Okoye is thoughtful. And a lot of how he approaches it, he cares about his teammates a lot, he hasn't played football for a long time, so there's a lot of growth factor there, right? But he's thoughtful and caring about what he wants to be able to bring to the table every single day,
A lot of players on each side of the ball talk about iron sharpening iron. What have you seen from your unit against the offense and just kind of that matchup overall?
It's just that, right? We're only going to be as good as that offensive line, right? So I love challenging that group, right? I want them to be able to bury our guys up front, and vice versa, right? Us be able to get the best look possible, right? So iron sharpen irons, that's what happened to Oregon, and that's what's going to happen here, But that's, again, right, we work every single day, right? But what does that ultimately bring out? Competition, right? We want to get best on best, and we're going to get best on best, right, with how we practice here at University of Cal Berkeley.
Now, Coach Lapoya, he's a former defensive lineman, also a former defensive line coach in the NFL. Does he attack that position, coaching it with a little more fire than anywhere else? Have you learned a lot from him? And
absolutely. This is his baby. This is his baby. As much as he's going to work with every single position on defense, but at the end of the day, when he comes down and he's working with the defensive front, hey, this is his baby. He's been doing it forever, and he's one of the best at what he does. He's been that way for the past 20 years, so it's been pretty special.
Anything else for Bryan, guys?
along with Tosh, what sorts of things are you hoping to bring over from Eugene And how are you molding them into the Cal culture, and how's that sort of been going as far as the install?
I mean, the biggest thing, right, that we've been fortunate enough with, we won a lot of football games up
Yes,
at
sir.
Oregon, right? So what we're trying to bring is just like that winning mindset, you know, and that just doesn't happen in the fall. It starts right now, right? And then picking out those little details, correcting them when you see them, you know, holding a standard not only for our group, but the rest of the team, right? So living up to that every single day, right? Because that's what Oregon has been able to do so successfully, and why Dan Lanning has been having such a good program over there, and why he's going to continue having a good program, right? So ultimately, right, it's us bringing those traits of what makes a great program and just living it, right? And putting that into our DNA.
Yes, sir.